Hello everyone, my name is Dorf, and I want to talk to you guys about Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. Pokemon Scarlet is a game that I had bought not too long ago and have started playing, and it is one of the most difficult games that I am talking about now, because it is such a anomaly, this game. I want to add some context by saying that I have played previous Pokemon games before. I have played the 3DS Pokemon games, which I think are the best games. Games like Alpha Sapphire, Omega Ruby, X and Y, Sun and Moon. I think those games are great for what they do. I think the generations are also good. The Pokemon that are in it, I think the storylines are quite good as well. And I've even played some of the older ones, stuff like Black and White, Heart Gold, Soul Silver, Red and Blue, etc. So I'm quite familiar with Pokemon games. And it actually, with Pokemon Scarlet, it is difficult to talk about this game because of the long history I have with these games in the first place. Pokemon Scarlet is a double-edged sword. The gameplay of Pokemon Scarlet is the first thing I want to talk about first, is that it is unlike any Pokemon game we've seen at all, and that is due to its open world. There are no loading screens, there are no level gates. It's just you, the player character, your Pokemon, and then this huge sandbox world that you go and explore. It's fun, it really is fun. I think you can pretty much go anywhere right from the start. If you want to challenge like the ice gym first, go for it, you know. If you want to skip class and chase giant Pokemon, that's also something you can do. I know some of the gameplay also derives from previous games on the current generation hardware, which is Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee. They have that Let's Go mechanic, which is the auto battle, which allows your Pokemon to battle wild ones out in the wild without you having to go ahead and fight it. I know they also have a few aspects from Pokemon Legends Arceus. However, I haven't played Pokemon Legends Arceus yet, so I'm not too sure exactly what mechanics they added from Arceus. If I had to guess, there is a mechanic in which if you press the ZL button on your controller, it kind of zooms in. You get to see like what Pokemon level that you're seeing, and you can throw like Pokeballs at it, or you can throw your Pokemon at it in order to engage in battle. I think that might be from Arceus if I had to take a guess. There's also Terra Raids. Now, Terra Raids I'm actually more familiar with because I know exactly where this game comes from, and that is Pokemon Sword and Shield. Pretty much they are like raids in which you battle like large, gigantic Pokemon. In Pokemon Sword and Shield, there was a mechanic called Gigantification in which you face these huge Pokemon in battles with like either you and your Pokemon or like with others and their Pokemon. Terra Raids are essentially the same thing, but it makes use of the new gimmick in the game, which is terrestrialization. So you're facing like crystallized Pokemon, and it has like a lot of effects, flashlights, cool shit, you know. But I mean, like, gameplay wise, there are some good things, but I also have to make notice of some bad things, like performance issues. The frame rate in Switch 1, so I played this game on Switch 2, mind you, and the frame rate is much better, but still, Switch 1 frame rate was absolutely shit. It was really bad in some places. I know in the lake area there was like heavy frame drops on the Switch 1. Luckily the Switch 2 does fix that with the free update of Pokemon Scarlet, but going into different places, battling Pokemons out in the wilds, it just was really sucky and shitty on the Switch 1, and there's no excuse for them to not optimize it even further in order to make the game more playable, because honestly, as I'll get to a little bit later, the art style and the design of the game isn't that graphically intensive, nor is it impressive. Pokemon and NPCs spawn in like fucking ghosts. If you turn the camera too fucking fast, you might see some like what is it called, that pop-in come in. It's really immersion breaking. And when you're traversing through the world, the areas do feel empty. Like, it's a big world that they have crafted in Pokemon Scarlet, and it's like it's big, but it's not full. It's just empty, you know. Kind of a similar feeling that I felt with Hogwarts Legacy. I'll probably make a video on Hogwarts Legacy, but one thing I didn't like about Hogwarts Legacy is how empty the world outside of Hogwarts was. There really wasn't much to do, just like a bunch of like challenges and stuff like that. It was just pretty bland. But we're not talking about that game now, but I just wanted to use it for comparison. Pokemon Scarlet, it has some good characters. I'm not gonna lie. I did like the characters in Pokemon Scarlet, and I had 3 listed over here that I liked, which was Nimona. She's your rival. She's a battle junkie who treats every battle like a fucking championship. She reminds me of Goku a lot. Just constantly just wanted to scrap battle people. But like Goku, it's a pretty likable aspect. Can it be annoying? Yes, but it's pretty likable. Arvin, he's pretty pessimistic, but he is my favorite character in the game. He starts off as this pretty pessimistic individual, but like once you get to know him, and his arc in the game as well really hits you in the feels. I don't want to spoil his arc because I think that honestly it was the best aspect of the game, was kind of going through Arvin's story. It was good, honestly. You know, there was even like one scene that like literally almost made me like shed a tear, you know what I mean? But yeah, Arvin is my favorite character. And what else characters I had here? Larry's the normal gym leader. He is a businessman. He just seems like an average businessman. He's pretty bored, and he's just like he's kind of me, you know what I mean? He's like every tired 9-to-5 worker, you know, trying to finish work so he can just go home and just rest for the day, you know. And then Director Clavel, he's the school principal. I thought he was pretty cool. He actually joins you in the story in one arc where you're pretty much battling this group. Since every Pokemon game has to have like a villainous group, and for this game, Pokemon Scarlet, it's Team Star. And Team Star, there's a whole lot of things going on with them, and honestly, it's a really good arc in my opinion. I think that's probably like my second favorite arc in the game was Team Star. But for the most part, yeah, he's pretty involved in that one, and he's just a chill principal. Talking about the story, it has so the story is split in 3 parts. And also, once you finish those 3 stories, there is a secret final arc. But essentially, this is how it goes, right? So the first story, of course, is just Victory Road, which is it's your classic, you know, battle all the gym leaders, fight, get a badge, repeat, and then go to Victory Road and go to the Pokemon League, beat the Elite Four, and then become the champion, you know? I think the designs of the Pokemon gym leaders were really cool. I really like them, especially the electric gym leader, the normal gym leader, and the bug gym leaders were my favorite designs. I really like them. The Elite Four was also pretty cool as well. They had a fucking lolly for Elite Four, which was kind of just like that's pretty odd, but it's whatever. It was pretty cool. Elite Four designs are on point, and the chairwoman, she is pretty much the champion, and I really like her design as well. She has like that aura to her that really is fitting, you know, to become a champion and to be the best Pokemon trainer. The second story arc is the Path of Legends. It is you pretty much fight against gigantified Pokemon. You uncover a lot of drama while doing this, mostly to do with Arvin's story. And yeah, afterwards you eat a sandwich. I don't want to spoil too much about that arc, but it's a good arc for what it's worth. And then the third one has to do with the group that I had previously mentioned, Team Star. You face the Team Star bosses that are all around. God, if I can remember the fucking area. All around the world. You fight them. I just want to say the Team Star fire leader, she has the best design of all of them. No question. And it's pretty cool. It's like a rebellious story. It's like some shit you would see in like fucking Mad Max. But it's overall a good time. All three of them are very solid. And then afterwards, the game drops a secret final storyline. I believe it was called The Way Home. And it's pretty fucking trippy. A lot of like time shit goes on. A lot of like AI, robotic, just a whole lot of just time stuff going on. Freaking like fusions of Pokemon. It's pretty out there, but I honestly liked it for what it's worth. It's a pretty good final arc, and I like the ending of the game as well. So yeah, there's a little bit more flaws I want to talk about this game, though. Of course, Pokemon Scarlet is not perfect. It suffers a lot through just the development of the game. I don't know what exactly Game Freak was cooking up, but you cannot release a game that has abysmal frame drops, graphics that, I'm gonna be real, right? With the graphics, I've seen mobile games have better fucking graphics than Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. I'm gonna be real. These graphics are not good. They are not good whatsoever. I don't know if it's because they're using the same engine for all the modern Pokemon games, but if so, you gotta retire that shit immediately. The open world as well, as I said, it was pretty empty. There wasn't really much going on in those worlds. Like this world that they had crafted was so beautiful, but it was pretty much consisted of nothing. All you would pretty much do in that world was just to go to point A to point B, and then rinse and repeat. You know what I mean? You would just go to one area to another, and to another, and there would probably just be one thing for you to do there. Either like, take out a Team Star base, fight a Titan Pokemon, or battle a gym leader, and then you're off to the next place. You know what I mean? Like, there's nothing to do in those areas, those worlds at all for you to sink your teeth into. You're barely in one place for like a few minutes until you're just off to the next. There's nothing to do in those places. That's so empty. But like, even then, like, it's so underdeveloped as well, because there's a lot of ideas that they had, and I feel like they could have gone the extra mile to make more new things in the game that would have really helped. Like, for example, I think voice acting would have been a perfect addition to this game to kind of make it feel more alive, as the world is empty. But I think voice acting could have really helped kind of make these characters feel more alive and kind of make the whole world feel a lot more alive. And I guess for the last flaw, or maybe it's not a flaw to you, but for the Terra types, it's cool in theory, but in practice, the NPCs don't really use them all that well. Like, the NPCs, they like pretty much, they just use them, and you pretty much know exactly what typing they're using for like the Terra types. And I mean, if you just have like a Pokemon move, or like a Pokemon that you have, right? Once they Terratilize, all you gotta do is just switch to that Pokemon that whatever typing the Terra type is, has like no effect on it. or it doesn't really do much damage to, and you're pretty much good, and then you just win. Like, I don't know. It's a cool mechanic in theory, but in practice, like, the NPCs don't use them well. The learning curve to use it is pretty much non-existent, because there's not really like situations where you would really use them. Like, for me in my playthrough, I could count on my fingers how many times I used territorialization. I didn't use it that much at all. I probably used it for like maybe a total of like 7 times. It's pretty lame, to be honest. And that kind of just brings me to my conclusion. Should you play as Pokemon Scarlet? I think it's a complicated answer, but to just kind of summarize, if you do like Pokemon and you want a fresh spin on like open world exploration, some pretty good characters, and some pretty good story beats too. The story was good for what it's worth. I think you need to be aware of the flaws that it has, of course. This game is not perfect. It is not the best Pokemon game by any means, right? It's clunky, it's pretty chaotic, and it's also, to me, one of the most bold and heartfelt Pokemon games that I have played in a while. It's something that I think if you do like Pokemon, you will enjoy. But if you feel as though the flaws kind of take away from the actual experience of the game and kind of deter you away from that game, it also makes sense at the same time. But that's kind of what I wanted to talk about in terms of the game. It is a bold game. It is a bold game that introduced some new ideas and new mechanics that were welcoming, but at the same time really crashed and burned it through its flaws, and ultimately just became a game that's complicated. Thank you for watching.